Good evening, Twitch. Good evening, everyone who is catching up after the fact. We are Malt and Magic. This is the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylin, episode 35. 35 episodes already. I think I'm amazed every week by how far we're getting. But let's get into this quite quickly because a lot happened last week. My usual thank yous go out to Hero Forge for our character creation, Tabletop Audio for the background music and sort of the ambience scenes you can hear, to Incarnate for mapping tools, whether you see any of them tonight, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But also for our sound effects from Battle Bards. We are affiliated with Battle Bards. Please go and give them a look. If you want to make your games more immersive, go and use our code Malt and Magic. Get yourselves a cheeky discount off some Battle Bards sound effects. It just makes it a lot more fun, to be honest. Hearing sound effects as you're casting spells or performing actions, it's just brings a new level to the game, so please do go check them out. Please, if you want to go catch up on old episodes, I say old episodes, past episodes, or want to try and catch things you've missed or try and figure out plot details, please go either check out the past episodes on YouTube, or if you would rather listen to us, we are now on podcast, or we are now released a podcast. Please go listen to us on your podcast platform of choice. And I think that's all I need to say about us tonight, but as always, I should give a huge shout out to Tales of Tilnar, run by Samal. It's just getting better every week. I say it every week, but it just gets better every week. The episodes are coming out thick and fast now, so it's all good fun. And in case you didn't catch it last week, we are very, very fortunate to have had a score made for us, our own custom bit of music. So I just want to say an absolutely huge thank you to Achilles again for putting that together for us. It perfectly reflects Malt and Magic and what we're trying to do with this stream. We are very, very blessed to have had that done for us, so thank you again, Achilles. If you want to go find Achilles, please go check out our social media feeds. We've linked to all his social media feeds on there, so go find it on Twitter. I think we did some stuff on Instagram as well. Other than that, I think that's all I need to say for tonight. Oh, no, go check the website out as well. Be sure to check the website out. There's a few bits on there. I think we'll be adding more and more as the weeks go on, as more details come out, and we'll see what happens. But yes, as always, there is adult language, adult humour. You have been warned. Let's go.
It's fucking good, that, isn't it? Oh.
Nice.
Thank you, Achilles.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. So, quickly running down the lineup, I am your Dungeon Master, Matt Isbell. I also play the character of Bothrid.
Hello, I'm Danny, and I play Andor Hornraven, who's cautiously optimistic.
Are you? Well, that's one of us. Simone, I play the Kirek Gravetusk, the cleric that had, been through some things. So,
He had a bad week.
Bad week.
Yeah, had an off day.
Yeah.
I'm Dave. I play Dagon the Goliath, and I don't know. Do I play the antagonist? Probably not. In fight,
You're going to try and not piss off some elves this week, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
You're our bull in the china shop.
Stuff.
New.
Could be. So, last week, what didn't happen, I think, would be the more apt question. It was very fast-paced last week. Designed that way, I should add, as we discussed on Malt Magic and More. Feel free to check that out on YouTube. So I think it started, I say I think, because it's even a slight blur in my own mind, and I created the goddamn episode. So we started having fled the Isle of the Isle of the Dead, understanding what, or at least trying to understand what had happened following that. I don't want to call it an altercation, but encounter with the Shadow Court, trying to understand what they wanted, why Vraco was there, what he had done, what they were now doing, what their aims were, how they'd met the Eladrian, and all those questions bubbling in our minds. At which point we then decided to take a long rest. Halfway through the long rest, this strange, bizarre, hurricane-like storm blew up around you quite literally. And after some mild heroics, mild stupidity from parts of the crew, depending on who you're talking to, certainly heroics on Dargon's side, running up the side of the balloon or climbing up the side of the balloon to rescue Geo, and then Hedam decided to walk out in the middle of a storm, cast a lightning bolt, and fucked himself over, basically. I was
about to say, get electrocuted.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a good thing he's a storm sorcerer, really. He's almost immune to that sort of stuff, or at least resistant. And you all then decided to shut yourself inside the crew quarters for at least some protection as the storm almost exploded around you somewhat. You then awoke to find yourselves in a forest, but alone in a forest, each of you deposited in this part of the forests away from your allies. Dargon using his familiar to find people around him, Kirek just picking a direction, doing what Kirek does, walking, finding the next thing, trying to find a solution to whatever problem he now faced. And not so successfully trying to climb a tree, but in doing so discovering Bothrid. And the party also somehow discovering Feltag as well. And then it seems like the wild magic had not quite dissipated. And while you stood next to a forest and said certain words, that wild magic surged once again to leave you face to face with a gruesome worm-like monster. With some rather powerful abilities, one that has left Kirek in a state of stupor, to use that term. And you very quickly decided to head in a direction you thought would lead you to a city, and luckily it did. You were then greeted by the elven guard of the city of River's End, passing a decrepit manor on your way in, and in haste to get help for for Kirek rather, Dargon may have not put his best foot forward. But in small discussion with the guard, you have been granted entry, at least under guard, into River's End, and that is where we start our session. So,
Feltag's still
Kirek,
with us,
you are
yeah?
being led. Feltag is still with you.
Yeah.
Kirek, you are being led by your allies who are following this elven guard, and as the party looks at the elven guard, they are not heavily armoured. They almost look like a ranger guard, if that makes sense. They all carry bows, some small knives. If you think to pull a Lord of the Rings spin on it, and I'm really bad with remembering names and things tonight. I was just doing this before stream. Legolas is the one I was going for. My god, more whiskey. So if you think Legolas, but almost an army of them with slightly better armour. There's more sort of studded leather armour kicking around, but some very ornate bows. They do also have these strange leather-like helms that almost give the effect of plate armour, but they don't cover the full face. They sort of have a nose guard, and just sort of helmed with these ornate patterns on the top. And you can see almost down the middle there is a engraving, embossing, whatever the term is, a woven symbol of a river flowing towards the forehead. As you enter the city, the walls themselves are these tall white marble walls. It is unmistakably elven architecture. And as you enter through this ornate iron gate, you see that there are people milling about in this city, but it is a very plush green city. There are trees, bushes, there are fountains, water naturally, supposedly flowing throughout this city. It is almost like a forest within the walls of a city. There are quite evidently some larger elven towers. And as you look around at the populace of this city, it is majority elven. You see some humans, you see some gnomes, some halflings and some dwarves. You also see some creatures that look similar to Captain Swift in nature. Some with blue hair, some with green hair, some with more sort of earthy tones, and others with this flaming orangey red hair as well. Anything
are we being led anywhere in particular?
We were being taken to the captain, weren't we?
Yeah, you are being led through the city at the minute, just sort of along these winding paths. What you see as you look down is that even though the majority of the city is this sort of green forest type area, the paths that you walk on are cobblestone, but it's almost like the cobblestone just grows naturally out of the more earthy soil around it.
It's not what I would consider what I thought a town would look like. I know. What do you think? It's nice though.
I'm just trying to take it all in. I can't really. It's a visual overload for me at the minute, I have to be honest.
Feltag, you know this place?
No, can't say I've been here before, but it's quite pretty, I suppose you would say. I don't care much for trees, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't really have much need for them, do you?
Oh, don't let Bofford hear you say that. I'd be well offended.
Unless you count to help make me, I suppose. I think this is wood, isn't it?
I thought it was metal. Huh. Oh well.
Well, no, this is metal. This is wood. I have no idea what these bits are. Interesting, though, isn't it?
Very interesting. That's beyond me, though. Impressive.
What are the bits that he pointed to that he doesn't know what they are? Does it look like Wrathstrike?
So he points to... So when he says the sort of the metal bit is quite clearly this metallic sort of natural armour, and then the rest of his arm is sort of a very woody texture. But then as he turns his arm over, there's a gap, and it's almost like... kind of looks like wires, but it's... He doesn't know what the material is. Make me a straight intelligence check, please.
First roll of the night. Come on, then.
Coming at you with an 18.
Not bad.
An 18. As you look, yes, you then start to see the blue and the purple vein on the black material, as there is quite clearly somehow, because you only know Wrathstrike to be this stone type material, somehow somebody has worked with this material to make it pliable, to make it able to bend, and you do every now and again, as sort of Feltag moves his arm around, you can see the surges of energy move through.
Interesting.
Totally fucked with the Warforged race from my own homebrew environment, why not?
That'll do. How long until we get to your captain, friend? I'll say this in Elvish.
And he turns, smiles, sort of nods with respect at the use of his natural tongue. And sort of turns and says, yes, well, not long, just up here. If she is with the Grand Magister, then we will have to wait. But the Ranger General is usually outside our barracks.
I will translate that to the guys.
Good stuff. And you walk past this rather ornate fountain, which is almost as tall as a normal, I say normal, as an average house in Glentuag. It is massive. And on the top there are what looks like fairies, or statues of fairies with water just spurting out their mouth, and it comes out down the side. And then you see sort of sculpted trees in this fountain as well. It is a very beautiful, ornate fountain. And everybody make me a perception check, please, which is wisdom based, Kirek, so you can definitely make that check.
And not tell us anything that you saw.
He still might notice, though.
I don't.
Check that out on the game
Oh,
log.
Jesus!
What did you get?
18.
Natural 20,
18?
28 altogether.
Natural 20. And you got, sorry, what, Kirek?
18.
You've got to communicate in mind for the whole episode, just to make it harder for Matt. Somebody in the chat
So
has
as you
said
look
that
around-
they've joined the stream to mock you,
I got an 8, by the way.
Good.
so that's good. I've come to mock the feeble-minded character, Vienna, or Vena. I've known
Love
that
it.
even.
Love it. Welcome. Welcome.
Oh, I know.
So as you all look around, you all do notice, rather unusually, as the towns you visited in the past have not had this sort of air of wealth, everybody is dressed in very, very high fashion. There's silk robes and very ornate leather jackets. There's just this air, it's almost like regal in the way they dress, but it is beautiful. There is quite clearly, again, that elven artistry throughout everything, but there is, the only way I can describe it is this like level of high fashion.
Dargon tries to brush some of the crap and mud off his cape. Just like, quite
Just laughing at the
unsubtly.
chat there. See, Dargon is just quickly sort of brushing off the dirt and muck, the leaves, the owl shit,
I
which
feel-
is clearly on his shoulder.
I feel pretty in place being a regal man myself. I'm pretty comfortable here. Also thinking there's a lot of pockets here with some valuable shit in it, I think.
I wonder whether
But
that's
I'll
going to come
leave
into
that.
Anders' mind.
I'll leave that for a minute. See how we get on first with the captain.
So you are led past this fountain, and you enter now what is quite clearly the heart of the city, and what you see are these 4 huge towers surrounding a sort of smaller squat sort of structure. And as you walk past, the guard that is sort of leading you through turns to you, Ander, in an Elvish, turns around and says, "This is our palace. This is where the Grand Magister resides. Very few are allowed in. Those that are usually have high station. We just need to go around here." And you are led past around the palace, and then you turn right through these beautiful pink cherry blossom trees that sort of line this alleyway, and you approach what is a central tower-like structure, but with these curved buildings around it. And you can see now that there is a training area in the midst of this, where there are a number of the guards practicing archery, practicing with their knives. There's some that use weapons similar to that which Bothrid carries, but very much more ornate and almost antique in fashion. And he turns to you and says, "This is our barracks. We shall wait here. I will go see if the Ranger General is inside. Keep an eye on your Goliath friend."
I'll say I have him under control in Elvish.
Very well.
And I will
He
not
turns and
translate that to the group.
disappears into one of the curved buildings. and probably 5-10 minutes later, he exits, and as he exits, a stunning blonde-haired, blue-eyed elf in full green leather armor with this flowing sort of darker green half cape, and a black wood bow follows him out.
Cool.
And she sort of looks at you all, eyes you all, whispers something to the guard, who then, and him and the rest of the guards that had escorted you in leave. And she just looks at you all, and in common, follow me. She turns and leads the way back into the curved building. She doesn't even notice, so she just turns and walks back into the curved building.
Has anybody got hold of Kirek? Is he?
Yeah, I'm looking after him. He's right next to me.
Just
looking at the arrows
He's got his hand clamped on his shoulder, just leading me around.
I'm just looking at the arrows being shot, like it's like a tennis. Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. So you following?
Yes.
Cool. So you follow, and she leads you down. It's almost like a cloistered hallway. It looks very much sort of that church-like architecture, which is just sort of naturally akin to the elves, and leads you off into a side room. And as you walk into this side room, it is bizarre, because even though it is a room, again there are plants and shrubs which make this look like almost a natural, or a room made out of natural materials. It's almost like the floor is made of this mossy material, but still hard underfoot. There is a bed which looks like it's made out of a tree branch which has grown in a particular way, and then the actual leaves making a pillow, and there's this duvet which looks like it's just leaves and moss all woven together. There is a wooden desk which she then walks behind, and looks like a seat has been almost carved out of a tree stump, and she sits behind it and waits for you all to enter, and then sort of places her bow next to her and just holds on to it. So, my lieutenant tells me you have business in River's End.
She's speaking in common, yeah?
She is speaking in common.
So I will say permission to speak in common in Elvish.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be polite. I'm not used to meeting somebody of such stature.
And she takes a deep sigh at this and says, "Forgive me, it is not often we have visitors from the forest that are cordial, shall we say. Let us
Glad
start.
to be a pleasant surprise.
A
Yes,
surprise, certainly.
As we were saying to your guards, we're here for two reasons, really. One, I do have a deed to some land, and hopefully a palace, I'm led to believe, at the power of Lord Areth. And secondly, my friend Kirek here, who is the chatty fellow, he's under the influence of a powerful spell, and we're hoping to rid him of this.
Yes, does somebody want to just wipe the...
Oh, yeah, hang on a minute.
Oh,
Get it.
there's no... It'll just come back in a minute. He's dribbling like a bull mastiff.
somehow.
Smile, if you could just go cross-eyed and hang your tongue out for the next 10 minutes, that'd be great.
Yes, well, your friend, perhaps we can help if we understand what has afflicted him. This land you claim, Lord Arith, you say? That
If
is a
I'm
name
pronouncing
I've
it
not
correctly,
heard in
yes.
some time.
Ooh.
If it is the same Lord Arith, then yes, they went missing some time ago. But if you have the deeds, then who are we to argue those?
Sorry to be forward.
Forgive me, Mom, but it would be really kind if we could find someone who could help our friend. I apologise in advance if I have offended your guard in my manners earlier, but I was and am keen to get our good friend here back, and I only hope we can strike some sort of deal and accord. Also, from the sounds of it, you all think we're actually from the forest, and I hope you can believe that we are mere travellers who have got lost in it. I hope we can prove that to you. Pardon me.
Very well said.
She looks at you and sort of peers very closely at you and takes that in for a few seconds. Yes, you certainly don't have that air about you from the forest. But tell me, how did you come to be in the forest? There are few who
I wish we knew. To be honest, one moment we were on a ship, thunderstorm above us. The next, we're waking up in a field. Well, in the woods. Very bizarre.
a storm.
Yeah. Bad one.
Tell me of this storm.
Purple stuff everywhere. That's all I knew.
Magical. Yes.
Another. Troubling. And you said you were on a ship. Where is this ship?
Good question.
Yeah, no idea. When we woke up, no sign of it.
It was
No crash.
not
No
with you
nothing.
in the forest.
Nope. We're
It was
also
with us
missing
before.
some friends in the crew.
Well, so you said ship. I assume you were out at sea.
No. Do you want to explain? All yours.
Long story short, we have some friends who created an airship for us. So we had a I'll start again. We had a ship that went on the water, as normal ships do. We then took it to our friends of ours, and they converted it into an airship, so we could travel across the land more quickly. And that's where we encountered the storm.
Yes. I remember seeing designs of things like those. I can only assume that the Stillman had some part to play in this.
That's the one.
Well,
Part
yeah,
of
I didn't want to mention.
the Malt Masters. That's the ones.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention the Malt Masters because your guards this didn't seem to be a fan, so I didn't want to bring up anybody who you might not like. But yes, we are associated.
No, well, when such people steal from us, we tend not to favour them highly.
They stole from
Those
you.
designs, one such theft, among other things.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not the biggest fan of the Stillman myself. So, you know.
No, he does have the habit of acting like a dick.
That's the nice way of putting it, yes. And if he is a thief, more shame on him. For shame on thieves.
Make me a deception check, please.
Can I insight
God.
check
Don't
Gander?
bother.
12.
Yes, you can.
I got plus 10 as well.
She rolled a 1, so she looks at you, and there's a bit of a wry smile, but she sort of nods and says, "Yes, we don't tend to favour thieves very kindly in this city." but looks directly into your eyes, Ander. Forgive me, I
Noted.
suppose I should introduce myself if we are to converse anymore. My name is Micaiah. I am the Ranger General of Ephedrine.
I'm not spelling
And
that.
you would recognise that. You would recognise that particular term as Elvish. And
Hell of a Scrabble score.
it means, in Elvish, it reads the death of the river.
Ooh. Well, that's the name of her troop, is it? Like she's in the Scouts.
Do you want a cookie?
And as she
out
looks
of
at you, sort of
character.
mulling this over, as she looks at the four or three of you mulling this over, one just sort of sat with a gleeful look on his face. Yes. Well, I suppose you've never been told the true name of our city. Ephedrine is the elven name for our city, and the one we prefer. Those who have visited us with less elegant tongues have taken the meaning and twisted it slightly. And now
So-
they call it River's End.
Ow.
So if that means death to the river, that sounds a lot more
Of the
sinister.
river.
Oh, that sounds a lot more sinister than the beautiful plush place you have here, full of life and trees and fountains.
But death is a natural part of life, is it not? It is the transformation of one thing to another.
Kirek, get on with you. Ain't that right,
Yeah, I think
Kirek?
it took-
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So your friend, you said this was more important, and forgive me for not getting to it sooner. But what
He can wait.
what became of him? How did he?
Jokes.
We were fighting some sort of horrible beast outside the forest as we were trying to escape, and as we did so, it it looked over at Kirek, and all his magic just went, and he got out his axe, which he's never done before, mace, and yeah, after that he couldn't speak. He was just sort of tapping me on the shoulder. It's all very weird.
It's almost as if his wits have gone and he can't comprehend anything we say and or speak to us in return.
He does still know us. He's happy to be with us.
Yeah.
He's been
And he
following
protected
us, and
us in
we've been
battle.
looking after him. Yeah, he protected us. So it's very odd. We've never seen anything like this before. I was kind of hoping it was going to wear off on the way here. It didn't.
No.
Powerful magic.
I don't,
Beyond my capabilities, I'm afraid, but I think I understand the nature of this magic.
Is it something in particular that is connected to the woods?
No.
Oh,
I have seen similar magics before. After all, magic can be bent in ways whoever controls it sees fit. Perhaps I should consult the Grant. And she almost disappears off into her own world slightly and sort of discusses with herself. And sorry, forgive me. Much is happening of late.
sorry. As she wanders off in her thought, I am gonna be Dargon's gonna be struck by a brainwave, which only happens occasionally, and he is going to detect thoughts on Kirek.
Oh boy.
oh,
So
hey, you guys.
um,
Oh, that's it.
you're like, hello, hello, is anyone there? Ooh, it's Echo in here. Echo.
Oh dear.
No,
So, detect thoughts.
Detect thoughts. So yeah, my hand goes out and touches his shoulder. My eyes go, sort of that sun yellow for a second, and I will then should be able to hear if there's any.
Well, I suppose the first question is with Detect Thoughts.
Yes.
Kirek, are you willing?
I don't understand what's going on, so no.
And also, is your intelligence of 3 or lower?
Yep.
But you can't speak any
And
language.
it does not.
And you
So,
can't speak any language anyway. So yeah.
The creature is totally unaffected.
Okay.
So as you go to detect thoughts on Kirek, it's almost like static. There is just nothing there.
Yeah. I sort of pull away like...
But as you cast this spell, Micaiah stands up, grabs her bow, arrow knocked. And then she sort of realises.
Forgive me. I just had a thought. My apologies. I just wanted to see if I could...
Well, for you to not cast in this city without letting know your intentions first. You say you are not of the forest, yet how am I supposed to fully trust that? That will be your one and only warning.
Mom. I merely wanted to see if I could understand his thoughts. It seems there aren't any. My apologies.
You have me somewhat concerned. The 4 of you. Landing in our city like this. No summons, no messages, no wares.
We simply had a map.
Just-
We knew where we were, and we were coming to the closest place that we thought that we might be able to get help. And I apologise if that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. We went to the first friendly city we could find.
Friendly. Perhaps not. You must understand, this city is the one place that stands against the forces from that forest.
Are they
Between
not?
us and our sister city, we defend this very land. And yet your masters sit on high on their mountain and seek to save this land. Where is their aid?
You're looking at it.
Yeah, afraid so. Look, we know we're not a welcome here, and we apologise for landing ourselves. Clearly, we don't know much of the politics of Nylin. That has been made clear a number of times. We are purely travellers, trying to help out.
And I get the sense that none of you are from this land.
That would be very correct. Oh, apart from Feltag, our friend here. I think he is. Are you? I think you are.
As far as I know, yes. Well, at least from what I remember. Do you know who I am? What I am? My name is Feltag, by the way. He sort of looks.
He was
No.
he was part of the crew of the ship, so at least one of them survived.
I
Forgive
think
me.
the more pressing question is why he was not taken with the rest.
Oh,
Maybe because he's not truly curious felt like living. He's a part machine. Could that be the reason?
That's a good point.
There's
But
no denying. I think anybody could deny that there is intelligence there. There is wisdom. Tell me,
What?
Feldhag, you have a soul. Feldhag sort of looks around.
He doesn't check the bottom of his foot.
I live. Do not all living things have souls?
I don't know.
Boys, do I have a soul?
Questionable.
So, is there any way that we can help Kirek?
I think you have a kind heart. Yeah, that's a good enough answer.
Thank you. Yes, we probably should help our half-orc friend here. Bonk. Flicks Kirek on the head, which sort of...
Yeah. So, Nikai, if we could go to see your Grand Magister, that'd be brilliant. Shut up, Kirek. Talking, stop lying. Yeah, if we could go see the Magister, that would be much appreciated.
Inflict wounds at 5th level.
The Grave Cleric's version of Rocks Fall and everyone dies.
She turns and she sort of says, well, lucky for you, my relationship with the Grand Magister is better than most. Come. And we'll have to see if I can at least get you into the palace.
Will it be better if not all of us go? I get
That
the
is
feeling I'm
entirely
not
up to
particularly
you.
welcome here.
I won't say anybody is welcome here without some form of invitation or need. Although,
We have one of the
we
two.
are not one to turn away those in need. Your half-orc friend.
Then I'm
Let
very
us see what
grateful
we
for
can
your
do for
help.
him. Come.
Yeah. Kirek Dribble Tusk is what we call him now.
He's going to fucking do us over in the next couple of episodes.
He's not reviving me when I die next time, I'll tell you that.
Next time Ander decides to stab himself with his sword, Kirek's just going to look on.
He's going to be holding that diamond. Like, which way round does this go? I don't know. Where's my spell book? I don't know. Like, maybe we'll have a long rest. I'm a bit tired. Oh.
You know what happened to him? Last time I saw him, he was doing fine.
It was a picture of health.
Soul, I guess.
Ander died peacefully in his sleep.
Oh dear.
with just 16 shiv wounds all over his body. Anyway, she stands, she collects her bow, she collects a very ornate quiver and sort of loops that over, loops the bow over the other side. Come. And don't say anything.
Oh, I'll warn you now. That's hard. That's hard for me to adhere to.
If you wish to say anything, then perhaps Elvish would be the better option.
Roger that.
That's me out.
If I look over at Bothrid at the moment, what's he looking like? Are you happy? He's probably over the friggin' moon. No.
Bothrid
He's
is
not
not
happy.
happy. Bothrid doesn't like the way that the party is being talked to. He doesn't get the feeling that you're welcome here, and Bothrid does not do well in social situations as it is.
No.
All right, so
Seeing
I will.
people that are very beautiful, looking quite regal. Bothrid is like looking particularly awkward. He just sort of is holding his staff, and his hands are just sort of kneading around it as he looks around and sort of nods and follows along.
Yeah.
So I'll say quietly. I'll stand in the back and be like,
Bothrid, you alright? You good?
We not welcome here. You should leave.
Yeah, we doesn't seem like we're particularly welcome, but I thought you'd like this place. It's, we've got all these trees around. That was
It's
just
beautiful,
be alright.
but people not friendly. Not like many people. When we go home.
As soon as we get Kirek, then we're going home. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, let's be quick.
Yeah, I want him back too. Right. Well, look, let's not say anything when we get up there, but maybe make a couple of flowers or something. Looks like this place would like that.
Did I overhear Dargon say that? Did you say take flowers
Make
from
a
here?
perception check.
All right, make some.
Oh, okay. I
That was
thought you
just
said take some. 16.
With a 16, you do get make and not take. Had you rolled
Okay,
a
no,
1
I
there,
know.
I'd have been like, yeah, he absolutely said take.
And for the first time ever, was going to say don't take anything.
Dargon was going to trip. Oof, fucking hell.
Although if she carries
So
on being sassy, I might
having
be
said
stealing
make
some.
some flowers, Bothrid then turns to you and says, you doing magic not end so well. I think I wait until you ask.
Oh yeah, good point. I forgot that bit. Anyway, I'm gonna go and make sure Kirek's going in the right direction.
And at this point, the Ranger General is just sort of stood at the doorway. Are we ready now? Can we go?
Yes. Thank you.
Right. Please do follow me. She leaves at a very quick pace, almost to the point where you're having to jog on. You're having to jog
Jog
to keep
on.
up with it. Jog on, mate.
That's a fast walk for
And
for
she
Dargon.
leads you. She leads you back round that sort of curvature of the palace and comes to this ornate golden doorway where 2 guards stand either side, and even as Micaiah approaches, they're 2 sort of double-bladed quarterstaffs, if you like, swing across. Ranger General, and not your business today. Yes, Lord Lieutenant, but I'm afraid I have something she needs to see. Something she may wish to see, more importantly. These 4 are from the Malt Masters, and although we do not like them, perhaps these 4 could be of use when they are whole. This one has befallen rather ill magic. If you would grant me in, then I will see to it that you are adequately rewarded by our Lord Magister. Very well. They must leave their weapons, though.
Did we hear that?
And she turns... No, that was all in Elvish, so Ander
Cool.
would have got that.
I will
And she
relay
turns and says...
to the crew.
And as you relay it, she says exactly the same. You're going to have to leave your weapons here.
Yep.
Which is
What?
as normal. We still do not know you are truly not from the forest.
Very well.
If all goes well, they will be returned to you.
Yeah. You're alright.
Your shield as well, Goliath.
Yeah. All yours.
And as I give them my fancy elven bow, I'll say in Elvish, don't mix this up with yours. This is very special to me, this one.
And as the Lord Lieutenant, as he was called, takes it, he looks. Where did you get this?
I purchased it.
Interesting.
I've always been a fan of elven weaponry. It's far superior. I'll say this in Elvish.
Make me a charisma check, please, just for being slimy.
Ah, cock. 11.
He looks and says, yeah. Flattery will only get you so far. A fine bow. And the rest, please. The rapiers.
Rapiers.
And you see they're all
Also
loaded
worth a try.
into a chest. You, Hobgoblin. Hand them over. And Bothrid goes through his array of weaponry and sort of pulls them out. Takes the double-bladed quarterstaff, hands over the staff of Four Seasons. Takes the long bow off, hands that over. Long sword out. Takes the
Walks
club
through
off
the metal
other
detector,
side,
it
hands that
beeps, he goes back, oh yeah, sorry, my bad, hang on.
And then you see him reach into his boot and pull out a very small dagger. And just sort of spins that and hands the hilt over.
Dargon
And then looks at
very surprised.
Dargon.
Oh, I will take the weapons off of Kirek. Because he ain't got flares on him.
Yeah. It's alright,
So,
Bothrid. We'll
Kirek
be
Pat
out of
him on the head.
Carry too many weapons.
Just a mace.
Just a mace.
You take
And
the
his
mace
shield.
off him and the shield. And they look
I'll
at
leave his
you and
incense.
say, we will permit the armour for now. Do
I
not
mean, I'm not
try
going to undress
anything
him.
in this palace. Do not try to cast any spells. I can sense the magic on all of you. Magic is not permitted inside this palace at any time. And even the Ranger General hands over her bow, and as she hands it over, the other guard on the other side sort of almost kneels and takes it and loops it over his shoulder, places a hand on top of Micaiah, bows his head, touches his forehead to hers, and whispers something in Elvish. And make
Do I
a
hear it?
perception check, please.
Ooh. Come on. Be a good one. 24.
The words you hear whispered are very poetic, but it says something along the lines of, "This weapon which is yours, I will guard with my very life." And you can see the respect between the guards. And even though she has been introduced as the captain of the guards, it's almost like these two guards that guard the palace. How many times can I get the word guard in a sentence? That protect the palace have almost a slightly higher station. They are protecting something worth a lot more than just the Ranger General. With all the formalities done, carry on, Dargon.
Yeah, sort of before realizing that we're going into sort of the non-speaking, no magic, no thing area, I would just reach forward to and I will lean into him like as I'm going to whisper, but I'm not going to make it obvious like I'm really trying to hide that whisper. So if basically if anyone asks me, I will say it, but it's just because I'm trying to be polite. I'll just lean forwards to him. Yeah. And what if we can actually help mend wounds between these guys and the Malt Masters? Rebuild some bridges. I don't think I'm going to be very helpful here. But look, they clearly don't like each other, but we need some allies. I'm sorry I can't help you because I can't speak your language or their language. Sorry, but if you need me to say anything, just ask. But I'm going to have to leave this one to you unless you say, all right?
Consider me the olive branch. Which is
Good.
thieves' cant for peace offering, obviously.
Do you know
Write
what?
that down.
Sooner we get Kirek back, the better. I don't like all this planning. Well, I say that. I used to do it, but I don't think I'm very good at it.
We've certainly lost a keen mind that I'm eager to get back.
If only they'd let me talk, I might be able to help.
Well,
But I'm
if
guessing
only
they
we
won't.
could If only we could trade you with Kirek and put you in his position, I think we'd be loads better off.
Oh, cheers. I won't take that as a slight. And I like smack him with my shoulder.
All I meant by that is Kirek would have known how to fix you, and he probably would have had the power to fix you, so he wouldn't have needed to come here in the first place.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what you meant.
This Bothrid leans into you both.
They are waiting. Shall we go?
Apologies. All yours.
Sorry.
I'll be quiet now.
No bother. Thank you, Lord Lieutenant. She bows to the other guard. Keep an eye on that bow. And she walks in. And as you walk into the palace now, there are it's almost like, it's a very golden hue inside. But again, it's that golden hue comes from unnatural sunlight that is from somewhere in here. There's trees that grow up inside this palace. In the very centre, there is a very large oak tree which sort of fans out and opens up, and around the edge you can see these stairs which lead up. And she immediately heads for this staircase and starts to walk up. And it takes some time. It probably takes about 20 minutes to really get up these stairs. And as you do so, there are very simple clothed individuals in this palace. They wear sort of white, still very fashionable, still look very regal, but they are much more simple than what you saw outside. And sort of just these white cotton, but very pure looking robes. Some have the hoods pulled up, some have them down. There is a lot of blonde hair. It is rare for there to be any other colours amongst the elves. And inside this palace there are only elves. And eventually she leads you to the top of the staircase, where again there are two guards. But as they see the Ranger General, they bow their heads. They bring their double-bladed quarterstaffs to the side, and one of them just elbows the door open. And you walk into, which is, the only way to describe it is a throne room. But again, there is greenery all over, and it's almost like the throne itself, which is carved out of wood, is bathed in this golden sunlight. It's very ethereal in the way it appears. And upon the throne sits another very, very beautiful woman, dressed in cotton, silk, and some leather, but robes of white and gold. And then there is a streak of green from the shoulder and almost a sash. And as the Ranger General enters, sort of turns to you all and holds up a hand to say wait, she approaches and walks up. You see this other female elven figure stand, beauty just radiating, but as the Ranger General approaches, there is a smile upon her face. The two embrace, and as they embrace, the Grand Magister, as it is apparent it is, takes the face of Micaiah delicately and places a kiss upon her lips. And the two smile at each other. And then the Ranger General steps to the side and holds the Grand Magister's hand. And the Grand Magister at this point just bows her head and beckons you closer.
I follow Anders' lead.
I will say thank you for granting us an audience in Elvish.
She turns, and as you greet her in Elvish, she smiles, and it is a wide, toothy smile, but again, just only accentuates the beauty even more. The cheekbones, the flowing blonde hair, the piercing green eyes that she has. She bows her head. I thank you for greeting us in our native tongue. Welcome. I am the Grand Magister. You are?
I am and a horn raven. This is my good friend Dargon, Bothrid, and Kirek. Kirek is the
Are they both speaking in common?
I'm speaking in Elvish still.
Cool.
You can see I'm kind of introducing you by pointing to you, I suppose.
So I will like, as he points to me.
And then
And Bothrid sort
Kirek
of drops
is
to a knee and bows his head without looking.
it is Kirek who we're hoping you can help. I know we are envoys for the Malt Masters, but we are on a greater mission than that. They just happen to be our employers, but our purpose is greater than that.
And you see Micaiah sort of lean in and whisper. And Grand Magister sort of bows her head once more. You may approach.
I'll bring Kirek forward then.
My name is Lena Miralabar. I am the Grand Magister of the Fearduin. Welcome, Lieutenants of the Malt Masters. What has befallen your ally?
We came across a foul, worm-like creature who cast a spell upon him and has made him almost feeble-minded. He lacks the power to comprehend speech and language. See what I did there? And he's our greatest mental strength, and yet now he is reduced to this. We must help him, and we're hoping you can help us do that.
And a servant of the Mistress of Death, I see.
If you mean the Raven Queen, then yes.
I do. And you, Ander, as you introduce yourself, you have something of the Fae about you, yet you tell us you are not from Phalead.
No, I mean, in the spirit of full disclosure, I have a guardian spirit, as it were. So yes, I am blessed by a Fae spirit, but she is the one that warned me about Phalead and how dangerous it is. And when we crash landed in Phalead, she was the one who come to me and spoke to me and told me we must get out, for it is an evil place.
And this time she speaks in common. She says, for the sake of your allies, let us speak in the common tongue. Your Half-Orc friend, strange, powerful magic has befallen him. Spells I've not seen in some time. Powerful spells at that. And yet you come to us. Why not head back to your masters?
Well, the reason is twofold, really. One, you were the closest city where we thought somebody would be powerful or knowledgeable enough to help, knowing that this was an elven city, and we didn't want to head back towards the forest or towards the Malt Masters because we didn't think they would necessarily. Well, time is of the essence, really, and we didn't want to befall any other enemies on the way back to the Malt Masters. So we felt you were the best option.
And I am told you have some deeds to land in our city.
Yes, although I used them as a bargaining chip, as it were, to gain entry to the city, our main concern for now is Kirek. We can worry about the deeds at a later date.
I'm sure. Still, in order to undo powerful magic, it is powerful magic that is required. What do you offer in return? For while we are willing to help those in need, the Malt Masters have never given us aid in our endeavours. Why should we now help them?
Well, you could consider us allies. You could consider us the bridge to mending the relationship between you and the Malt Masters. Although we work with them, we do not serve them. We serve Nylon.
Grand Magister, may I speak?
2 seconds. Make me a persuasion check, please, Ander.
I'll be a good roll.
Do so with advantage.
Natural 20. Thank you. 24.
Something in your sentence resonates with the Grand Magister, and her eyebrows sort of raise for a second, and then Dargon, you chime up. She turns. Yes.
Thank you for speaking in a tongue I can understand. It is most gracious. And I apologise if I
could speak in Giant if it would make you feel any better.
Yeah, it is extremely gracious. Thank you. But please, I would like to back up what Ander has said. Whilst we work for the Malt Masters, it is... we have found we don't always see eye to eye to them. And we are merely trying to do good here. They have been able to help us, and we have been able to help them. To hear that they have stolen from you, if we understand correctly, I'm afraid does not surprise me in the slightest. However, they do seem to have good intentions, and we hope to help all that is good in Nylon.
The road to the Hells was paved with good intentions.
Indeed. We merely wish to help ourselves and better those we find who have lost that way.
It is clear none of you are from Nylon. What is your purpose in this land? Why do you work with the Malt Masters?
It seems we were brought here by some power I could not even admit to know what or where it comes from. But I do know it brought us here. If I understand correctly, it was also what brought the Malt Masters themselves. I do not
You refer to
know.
the seer?
I do. We have met the seer only twice, and I still do not fully understand who or what she is. But we have been brought here by the seer. And it seems that we are interconnected with Nylon so much that we do not really understand why. But it is clear we need to be here, and it is clear now, with the connections we've made, that we need to be here to help. I can only stand and say for what I believe in, and that is that I wish to help and to rescue Nylon. And I know that sounds very similar to what the Malt Masters have said. I simply wish to help.
You could say it's our destiny.
What makes you speak of destiny?
Why else would we be brought to this place?
Wild magic is in itself wild. And yet you mention the term destiny.
Well, the reason I say that is because I suppose my destiny is intertwined with the evil that plagues this land.
How so?
The red-eyed
I'm
Eladrin.
aware of the Eladrin.
Yes.
How does your destiny intertwine with his? He has plagued
you
this
c- you
land
could-
for generations.
You could call him an arch nemesis of mine. I also believe he killed my father? Relative. He has killed my family, members of my family. So,
And who is your family? What do they mean to Nyla?
it's all getting we're getting a bit off topic now, aren't we? But
No,
And
I
I'm
don't
yet to
think
do.
we are.
And we're not. I think it's best we speak the truth here.
Okay. I am the
Pause.
last living heir.
I think if we are to discuss this plainly, then perhaps we should all be able to discuss this plainly. Know this. I will help your friend, but it will come at a price.
We'll pay.
Yep.
Yes, you will. When we call, I expect a response.
You'll receive it.
You have my word.
One cannot serve two masters, but in this, if and when we call, I expect you to arrive quickly. I expect you to help in whatever we ask. And I expect you to swear it.
If it were not the proof of someone who was shallow and willing to depart from those they've already trusted, I would say that I would drop this badge on the ground right now. I merely wish to prove that we are helping those we deem need the help. I do not wish to betray a single person.
And yet, in agreeing to this, it may require betrayal.
Of those who are
willing to go
evil
that
or
far?
those who aren't?
What if we were to ask you to return that which was stolen from us?
What, the airship?
That is but one thing that the Stillman sought to deceive us about.
God, that scaly
My
bastard.
aunt has clearly been less than forthcoming about this land which she seeks to rule.
Ooh, art. I'm writing that down.
Your aunt?
Yes.
Fuck. Only I could speak.
You're not allowed to make any notes, Kirek, because you ain't got a clue what's going on.
Could make as many notes. His wisdom is not affected.
Yeah. It
But you won't be able to
seems,
remember it because his intelligence is shit.
it
Oh, no,
seems
wisdom is
apparent
history check,
now.
innit? No, intelligence is history.
It seems now we clearly are well out of our depth. I hope you would not ask us without fair knowledge to make any agreements without knowing as much as possible.
She reaches down, takes a bite of something. And I've just seen a WhatsApp message.
Yeah. All caps.
She turns and says, "This is my bargain. I will help your friend, but only if you agree to help us in whatever we ask. As
I
you
will
have
not
heard,
kill.
We
I will not murder.
She looks and
I meant to say will not
think
murder.
He'll
think
definitely
it's
kill.
barbaric. I would not ask you to murder those that have given you home. I would only perhaps ask to right some wrongs. We are the defense against the Fae. We are the ones that stand against this forest.
That's funny.
Our
That's what
sisters stand against the forces of the Hells, and yet the Malt Masters do nothing. If you truly wish to help this land, then this is the bargain we will strike. You will help not just your masters, but all. When we ask it, you must come running.
That is our only intention. And may I also point out that they have now finally done something. We are here for whatever reason, and we believe they have sent us here for some reason. Clearly, we do not know what yet.
the distiller has given us a similar speech to what you just gave us here. Actually, she believes.
I am sure my aunt has given you many a speech.
Ooh, how many aunties have you got? Ooh, fucking nuggets dropping out of the sky like crazy tonight. I'm going to run out of ink in this pen.
I think you're naive, Goliath, to understand and believe that it is the Malt Masters that have brought you here. You say the Seer was responsible. The Seer was not one of the Malt Masters.
I know
Nor
this.
did she much care for the organisation. She sought to protect the land, to return this land. If it is she that has brought you here, then you owe it not to just the Malt Masters, but to all in Nyalin. You must ascend beyond petty politics and truly serve the people.
It is my only wish. I was
Then our
no good
bargain
at
is
politics
struck?
in the past. I have no need of it. The answer is yes from me.
Then let it be done so, in more than just words.
Do you wish us to prove ourselves before you fix our friend? Because I may say that he would be quite the help.
You're right.
I'm just trying to think. This is obviously, we're in a democracy here if we're talking about politics. Dargon's voted yes. I'm leaning towards yes because obviously we serve Nyalin, not the Malt Masters. They just happen to be a means to an end to some degree. I think Kirek, if you agree, Dargon, would probably lean towards a yes because he just wants to do what's right, whatever path that is, whoever that serves. So I would probably say he would lean to a yes.
Yeah, Dargon has no need of politics. It didn't do him much favour in the past, and he just wants it clear and true. So that's why it's like, already in his mind, if these guys are fucking us over, he'll just come back with a massive sword, but he hopes he never has to.
I'm in Anders, and he's happy to play both sides because he just wants to kill the Eladrin, and if he thinks these people will be helpful, he'll agree to that.
And very similar to what the Grand Magus said then. It is, we're here for the people. Well, Dargon is. Dargon is now here for the people. Now that there's nowhere to go, and as we just discussed before, there was a point that Dargon was pretty much ready to walk out of the Malt Masters, and God knows what would have happened. But yeah, this is no different now. This is no different at all.
Internal monologue for Ander is, deep down he wants to know who his family is and where he's from, and she seems to know quite a lot about the seer and stuff without being provoked, so I'm going to milk this cow. So yes.
Good job it hasn't got
For
a massive...
information.
And so, you know,
Hey!
with Kirek putting his hand on the
So
crack
as-
earlier, we're all in the way here. Bloody hell.
And a gash.
Oh gosh, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
So she watches the two of you discuss and then turns. Is our bargain agreed?
Agreed.
Bring the basin. Micaiah retreats off and brings forth, which is effectively actually just a small cup. Words to me mean nothing. I believe in the bonds of blood.
How brilliant.
If this is agreeable, then sacrifice. We sacrifice for this land. If you wish aid, I ask that you sacrifice. All of you.
I mean, I've already given my life, so a bit of blood now is no trouble.
She takes out a very ornate dagger, to the point it's almost a short sword, but it's this very curved blade with a vine-like inlay on it in green gemstone. A very golden, brass-like hilt. And she holds it forth. Who will be first?
I'll put my hand out straight away.
Oh, do I get to keep the knife, or?
Quick as a flash as Dargon steps forward and holds his hand out. Your palm is sliced. And
Don't
a
even
couple of
flinch.
drops of blood just drop. Make me a wisdom saving throw, please, sir.
Nice!
Oh, good.
4.
No, thank you very much.
Go on then. I'll
She
go
looks
next.
to you, then Ander, and almost in a back. 2 drops fall. Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
I hope Dargon doesn't have hepatitis.
No, but what Dargon is doing is looking over at Feltag now, wondering how the fuck he's going to do something.
12 for my saving throw.
Thank you.
I will.
She looks at
Hold
Bothrid,
out.
and Bothrid looks at the two of you, and then just steps forward, bows his head, looks up at her almost fearfully for a second, and as the blade bites in, but then squeezes the blood in. Wisdom saving throw. Bothrid gets an 18.
I will lead Kirek. I'll stroke his hair while I hold his hand out to comfort him. Like when you take a dog to the vet.
In his current state, he may choose to attack. Are you ready for that consequence?
Yeah.
I'll walk up to stand behind
Permission
Kirek.
to potentially cast a spell if he just tried to attack.
If he attacks, he will not get far. Your permission is all that I need. Slices on Kirek's palm, and the blood drops in. Kirek, make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Probably going to be like the only one to get like over
Kirek,
20.
roll to attack.
29.
29.
I think
Ridiculous.
that's all right.
That was a natural 20.
Nicely done. Okay, thank you very much. She does not ask Feltag to step forward. And as she looks at the Warforged, I sense your peculiar friend is not affiliated so closely with this group. However, our bargain is struck. And now she steps forward, takes Kirek's wounded hand, places a hand over on top, and a surge of golden energy flashes from her through Kirek. Kirek, you are instantly going to get 70 hit points
Damn!
back.
7-0.
7-0.
That's he.
Heal.
It's going to take you up to full.
That is heal. We love it.
And you slowly but surely feel your personality to begin to return. Thoughts begin to form. The language around you begin to slowly but surely understand as your intelligence returns to normal, your charisma returns to normal, and the effects of feeble mind are no more.
Who's back?
The cut on your palm is also healed.
Better be at 70 points.
Who are you?
Hey! He can speak!
Oh, you're
Welcome back,
you're.
Half-Orc.
Thank you. What happened?
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps we shall leave you and your friends to discuss. To discuss.
Grand Magister,
Micaiah,
thank you.
come. Let us rekindle for 10 minutes or so. You have the chamber. No spells. Do not try and steal anything, for I will know. And do not forget our bargain. And we're going to take a short break.
Woo!
Welcome back. I don't feel like anybody's relaxed in that short break whatsoever.
No,
No.
that was, yes, that was, get more drinks!
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good stuff. So, Micaiah and the Grand Magister leave off to a side room, and you can see, actually, as they leave, the hands end up with hands, sort of, rather than being clasped, they snake around each other and sort of cuddle each other a little bit as they walk away, and disappear off into a side room, sort of past. It's almost a drape of leaves that they pass through and disappear beyond. You are left in this grand chamber full of this golden light, almost like sunlight. Almost feels like you're in the top of a tree house, or in a tree house at the top of a tree. Sorry, but something that is crafted from the tree itself. Kirek now returned to his senses. Bothrid turns, seeing you speak, and just pulls you into a hug.
Oh, good to have you back, Kirek.
Thank you. What happened? I thought I was in some sort of dream. I dreamt that we were coming up to a forest inside walls, and there was some elven creatures around, but
Yeah, we're, it is a long story, but we're in River's End. There's a lot of elves here. And apologies, we have just made rather a big deal, but it was to get you back. And I say apologies, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Welcome back, friend.
It's kind of a blood oath, but don't worry about it. But long story short, they fixed you in return for a yet to be determined favour. So it'd be usual daily behaviour for us.
who's they?
Oh, just happens to be the niece of the distiller. But that wasn't the reason we got the favour. Apparently they don't get on. She happens to be the Grand Magister of this fair establishment, whatever that means.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you gone feeble-minded again? Your face has gone... You look confused.
No, I'm okay. It's just a lot to register. Last I remembered, we were fighting an enormous beast, and then suddenly we're all here. Feltag, I see you're still here.
Yeah, it did.
Welcome back, friend.
Thank you.
That beast did something weird to you. Halfway through the battle, your magic just buggered off. You took out your mace and started smacking stuff, and you couldn't speak afterwards. It was real weird.
I mean, moral of the story is don't finger creatures if they don't want you to. Because it has unforeseen consequences.
I will take that in mind.
But yeah, we came to River's End. Seemed like the closest place. We didn't get the warmest of welcomes, but we have got you back. And it looks like the Malt Masters, as we kind of knew before, still aren't telling the truth. If we are to believe these guys, which we don't have to. I don't trust anyone at the moment. But they say that the Malt Masters stole something from them, and I'm guessing they want us to get it back. I said yes, because I just want to help Nylin. I couldn't give a crap about the Malt Masters. As much as they've been helpful to us, are they just pampering us to try and keep them on side?
Thank you, first of all. I think I find it strange that we're not welcome. We're usually such a good bunch of individuals that go along with everyone.
Yeah.
So I don't. What was a lot of questions. Well, who? Why did they not get along with the Malt Masters? What do they want us to retrieve? Surely it's just something we can ask the Malt Masters, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't want to tell us what it was. But
we know the Stillman stole the designs for the airship, apparently, from here. But there's other things they have apparently stolen, which we are yet to find out what they are.
Again, that's only what they said. Look, I don't care.
Why don't I cast Zone of Truth before they come back in?
We're not meant to do any magic here, so they don't like that.
And we know what happened to me last time. I was sputting out all sorts. I don't want to get us into trouble.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you'd have to ask them for their permission. So,
which kind of defeats the point, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, look, we still don't really trust anyone here. I don't, anyone, but I do want to help. So, I say we just try and get to the bottom of all of this ourselves. That they do say that with this city and another one, I don't know which one, they keep Phaliad at bay. And they were particularly untrusting of us because we came from the forest. I think they relaxed a bit when they knew that we weren't actually from Nylin itself, so therefore couldn't really be from Phaliad. There's more questions, you know. What are they keeping from? But the trouble is, they just didn't want to say, and seems like they got better stuff to do.
I mean,
what about if we try and find some more information outside of this room and inside this city?
I mean, well, if we find out what building I get with these deeds, it could make us more welcome in the town if we have another place to stay outside of the Malt Masters. We could use it. We could stay here regularly if we need to, or it might just get us more standing in them for them to open up.
Well, you know, Anda, I think that's right. I think that's good. If we can go down the route of mending bridges, then great. But if we can't, and like a couple of weeks ago, I was just happy to walk out of that keep. It would be nice to have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Did they mention anything about? Did you tell them about the ship and it disappearing into the forest?
Yeah, briefly. They didn't really respond to it much. The only thing they mentioned was the fact that Feltag survived with us, but the rest of them are currently missing. They didn't explain what that would be or not.
But they didn't seem surprised.
We've got
either,
more questions than we
given-
have answers, and that keeps happening.
Well,
Make
maybe
me a
I
wisdom
can.
check, please.
Ooh. Straight wisdom.
Yep, straight wisdom.
And 12. 12.
What did you roll? 2?
7.
Not quite complete, but almost like as if within a dream. You, as the guys speak about this, it's almost like strands of memory begin to reform, and you begin to remember parts of these conversations and these events that have gone on.
Cool. Well, then I suppose we can bring them back in and try to figure out what happened. I mean, I'm aware that we came here to get Vrako back, and well, at the moment we don't have him with us. We don't know where he is. We don't know what any one of the crew is, apart from Feltag, and we told ourselves that we were going to be going up north to. I'll acknowledge that Feltag's in the room at this point, and then I'll turn back to my companions and say, to deal with our pressing matters.
He was in the room where we were talking about quite a lot of stuff.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, there's that. That's a very good point, Kirek. Andrew, I don't know whether we're going to have much time to stick around here.
We'll see. Well,
However,
they might even have clues on how we find our friends.
that was my next point. I think it would be folly for us to leave without asking them and tell
Absolutely.
them that our intentions are to go back in and find them.
Absolutely. I mean, if we can, what do I don't know what time of the day is because there's sun in here. So, what time of the day do you know it is, or do you have any idea? Looks like it's midday, but
Do we know from how long we spent
That's
and
a
what it
very
was
good
like
question.
outside?
You don't know from how long you've spent, but I'm going to say Ander and Dargon, make me a nature check, please.
Great.
Or a survival check.
I'll make that one if I can.
Ooh.
That's a 23.
23.
Witchcraft.
I guess
The
guess I'm
worlds
rolling
of
well
alive.
tonight.
A portal to a dimension opens.
Both of you now think back, and when you landed in the forest, it seemed like morning-ish, maybe midday. And now, having spent those few hours getting to River's End, you can only work out that maybe it's getting to early evening, although the light in this room is certainly not reminiscent of that.
Yeah, it's about. We're getting on in the day, Kirek. It doesn't look like it in this room. It's a bit weird. It was late afternoon and now it's daytime in here. But yeah, that's beyond me. Anyway, yeah, probably we're no good to them dead. So we can either just head out now, or we can rest, recoup, find some information, and try and go from there.
I was thinking if we... Depends on what they want from us, really. But if we find a place to rest, and if we get permission from them... How do they survive without magic? If we get permission from them, I can send messages and try to figure out where Vraco and the crew are. I want to attempt to scry, because I have a theory that might not work. For I think happened, but sending should work, and we can always talk to the Malt Masters and let them know the situation, and seeing how much we want to get back to them, I guess.
I mean, we haven't tried casting spells out in the open, but I can't believe it's going to be any better than the few places we have tried it. I would say we've either got to see if we can get the deeds to the place that Ander owns, or we've got to leave the city just to do some magic without being looked at badly. Both are probably going to take just as much time, so maybe we do try and find someone who can speak about the deeds, and if that's a dead end, let's just bugger off out of here. Worst case scenario, we'll sleep on the road.
There's something I could potentially offer to them as protection from creatures of the failure. I mean, depends how much they are going to believe me, since I was under the effect of one of them. But
I mean, it seems like they've got it under control, but you might as well give it a whirl.
Well, if we're trying to gain their good favors, then I guess every little bit helps.
Good strategy.
Yeah.
But I will need to sleep for that.
Alright. Well, look, we've got more information to find. Shall we just, well, bloody hell, you don't even know where to start. I don't think that we can probably bother the Grand Magister much longer. So...
Is there anyone else in this room?
Nope.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're coming back. Do we just leave? Oh, by the way, Kirek, you haven't lost your weapons. We had to leave them at the door.
I was gonna ask where my shield was and my mace, but
Yeah. Didn't seem like it was the place to walk in and with weapons, and to be fair, even the lady who brought us in had to leave her weapon. It looks like she's
Your weapons
quite
will
friendly.
be returned to you when you leave. Are you done deliberating now?
Bloody hell.
This from Micaiah, who walks in, and she has sort of a sly smile on her face, and there's a little bit of a giggle as she sort of nuzzles in close to the Grand Magister, who again kisses her, and then they release their embrace.
Have you two been eavesdropping?
Are you well now, Half-Orc? Say again, Ander.
I said, have you two been eavesdropping?
It is
In a
not
playful
polite
way, obviously,
to
not in an
listen
accusational way.
unwelcomed on the conversations of others. What is said in this chamber remains in this chamber.
I believe it.
Boom.
Make me an insight check.
Well, here he is. He's back in the game.
Captain Insight. It's going on a t-shirt.
I rolled an 11, so that's a 20.
Holy moly.
You absolutely believe that there is, from what you understand with that insight, the way she speaks is pure honesty, but pure power, pure majesty, if you like.
Yes, my friend's been catching me up with what happened. I would like to thank you for all that you've done. We were wondering if perhaps we could... we've been traveling, and of course you know what has happened to our vessel and our other companions. We were wondering perhaps if we could, if it's not too much trouble, of course, to find a place, maybe a tavern. You could indicate as a tavern round that we could spend the night in, and perhaps discuss a little bit of what you would ask of us later down the line.
You said you had deeds to land in this city, did you not?
Yes, but by the way your guards sniggered when they found out what the building was, I'm assuming it's probably not habitable.
Well, if it is, as Micaiah here tells me, Lord Areth's estate, then the guards may be foolish. Lord Areth was clever, wise. He knew how to protect his possessions. You are welcome, if the deed is true, to stay in the land which is yours. As for food,
my inner dungeon crawler is really going for it right now. And see.
Do you wish to verify the deed is...
Don't pull on that string.
Carry on.
Do you wish to verify the deed is authentic? And then show us to our new home?
I will not be showing you anywhere. However, yes, I would like to examine the deeds. But first, perhaps we should talk some more. It is still only early. There's much left of the evening. I'm sure you have questions. I am willing to answer. I am not so secretive as those you serve.
You seem like you aren't.
Make me a perception make me an arcana check, actually, Kirek.
Hey, it's not -5 anymore.
That's the one who chimed up first. You don't notice it, but then as she holds her hand forth, you can see there is a build-up of magical energy which then just shoots out. And before you is a oaken table with food, drink, wine, what looks like a stuffed pig. There are grapes. There's literally all manner of exotic and luxurious food. And she takes a seat at the table. Please, join me. I figured such a feast may suit you in the coming days.
Heroes Feast!
I was waiting to see who was going to...
We've missed out on one. We can't miss out on this one. I will sit down at the table and just say, remember your manners, Bothrid. As I can see him eyeing up the whole pig.
In fact, what am I doing wrong on the dice? Bothrid's character sheet's just here.
He's going to rage.
He's
going to rage eat.
He's going to roll for initiative and the pig wins.
Wisdom check. As you say that, he has already leant in and wrenched out a load of meat and just there like,
Sorry.
and at this, Lena chuckles, to be honest, and she says, No. Feel free, my friend. The deeds, if you will. I would like to examine why you revitalise yourselves.
Yep.
Yeah, Dargon sits down and can I make some sort of check to just make sure that we're not being fooled here?
Just watch Bothrid to see if he dies.
What are you trying to check for?
Are we being asked to? Are we being suckered in by a lovely looking feast? But actually, there's ill will.
Make me an insight check. As I'm assuming you're assessing her now.
Yeah, it's a 6, so I'm all good and I'm hungry. So let's go.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I've got the deed out. I was going to make a show of making it look like a normal bag, but I can't pull the wool over her eyes. She knows it's a bag of folded, so I'll just... There we go. There's the deed. I was going to do like a Mary Poppins thing and just pull everything out of the bag.
And she takes the deed and sort of unrolls it. Oh, Aerith, you are clever. Waves a hand over it. And you, having just handed to it, now see rather ornate elven script begin to form. And you only catch a few words before she sort of turns it and sits back and reads. And then rolls it up. The estate is yours. I would love to know where you came across this particular deed.
I reclaimed it from a dastardly thief who had stolen it. I assume it was in his possession, so I assume he stole it. I think that's what happened.
That answers my question.
What? I liberated it from a thief.
I asked you where.
Oh, where?
Not from whom.
Green flower? No, sea meat.
See me.
Yeah.
Sea meat.
Yeah, it was.
Green flower.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
It was.
Sea meat.
It was in that lighthouse, wasn't it, Ander?
Yes. Yep. The lighthouse. Run by that dastardly buyer fella, you know.
A buyer?
Oh.
I'm assuming
Your
if you mean
guards.
the lighthouse in Seameat, then you mean the Midnight Assembly, but...
If that's what he called himself. All I know is your guards had a warrant for his arrest.
Yeah, that was the one. They.
Our guards? I have not sent any guards to Seameat.
I'll just stop digging a hole in ears.
There were some elven guards there. Apparently, they didn't fare so well when they tried to attack.
They were dressed like my guards?
Were they? From my memory.
What were they called? The mid.
No, because
I'm
sorry. I know they had a symbol on, but the two different symbols or makes that we've seen.
So, make me a...
History?
It's not quite history. No, it's not old enough history. Just make me a straight...
Perception?
Make me a straight intelligence check.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Remember check. So what were they called? Midnight what?
Assembly.
Similar, thank you.
10.
Yeah.
You vaguely remember some differences. You don't remember leather armor for sure. You seem
Yeah,
to
it was
remember
metals
plate
or yeah.
armor.
Well, maybe they were from your sister city, which, sorry, you forgot to mention. Your sister city's name.
Deluin.
Ooh.
Do they wear like more plate armor?
They are more suited for a different form of combat.
It may have been from their city instead then.
Yeah.
Apologies for getting them mixed up. It's been a while.
Either way, find us keepers, right?
The real thing to you.
Say that again.
Does name Erandriel mean anything to you?
As DM checks his notes.
No, I just need to find the right note, because I exactly know where that comes from, but I just need to make sure I don't fuck this next bit up. Perhaps. Have you come across such a name?
He was. Remind me. He was one of the people that. He was the guy that we. Basically, it's. I think it's either one of two things. It's either he's the guy that we spoke, that we cast spoke with dead on, or he's the guy that sent those guards, the guy that they were looking for.
It's the latter from what you. It's the latter from what you got.
Oh
Right.
yeah, the dead guard told us. Yeah.
Yeah. They were, well, apparently the ones that sent those guards into the Watchtower in Seamead.
And so far, there's still searches. Erendriel is my father.
Fucking hell, this is a tangled web. So I'm going to ask some personal questions now, so do forgive me. So would he?
It's a relationship with your father, really.
So would he be the brother of the Ranger General or the Distiller, or both?
And how does
the
that make
Ranger
you
General
feel?
And the Distillers, are they sisters? Join us after the break for the results of the paternity test. Jeremy Kyle.
I'm sorry. Why would she be? And why would he be the brother of the Ranger General? That would be quite strange.
You
think
don't
Well,
mean Ranger
if-
General, you
if-
mean Distiller.
Well, no, if the Ranger General is your aunt, she's got to have
No.
a sister.
No,
or
no,
brother.
no.
The Ranger General and her are together, I think.
We're
Very
talking
clearly.
to the Grand Magister, and the Ranger
you not say
General
aunt?
is.
Aunt
Yeah.
of
Do you not say
Distiller.
aunt?
Well, at least that's our theory.
The Distiller is Lena's aunt, the Grand Magister's aunt.
Okay.
Yeah?
But what I swear I heard you say, like, aunt to get the bowl or something when she got the basin. Obviously not.
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think I said that. I think I said fetch the basin or something like that.
Right. Cross that note out.
Yeah, so just to make that abundantly clear, there is no
They be
incest
lovers.
going on in this campaign.
Right, so it's the Distiller's brother then. I assume.
Yes.
Right.
The
Fucking cross that
distiller
out.
is my aunt, and he is her brother.
And you said the search continues? Is he missing?
No, my father is very much still within Deluin. My brother, however,
Fucking hell. Can we just have a
You
copy
say
of your
you
family
know a
tree,
buyer.
please?
Do we know?
Who is
that
your
was
brother?
directed at Ander, so I'm going to let him finish making his notes, and then
Shut up.
she
Go
asked
on.
you if you knew a buyer.
I knew of him and I have met him, but I wouldn't say I knew him, if that makes sense. Acquaintance.
Was he the man selling the fish?
First fish.
Fuck off.
I couldn't help it.
Arseholes.
I liberated. I
She
suppose.
casts power kill, and you all just drop down to
And who might I ask is your brother? Is this what you want us to retrieve for you in return for healing Kirek?
My brother is beyond retrieval.
Is he dead?
What happened to him?
I'm sorry for your loss if he is.
She
Already...
turns for a second and almost like takes a moment to compose herself.
Don't you dare.
What colour are Lena's eyes?
Don't you
Green.
fucking dare.
Okay. Just checking.
Dargon has stopped eating at this point.
you thinking her brother's the Eladrin?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he can't be, because she... Ooh.
What?
Can't he?
Can't he?
Oh, I love it.
Dark elf.
She takes a moment, sort of composes herself, and you see Micaiah lean in and sort of place a hand on Lena's shoulder. She takes a sip of wine. My brother is beyond help now. Abaya is the one at fault. And he is the source of my father's vengeance.
Is this rage or sorrow that she has?
Make me an insight check.
While he's doing that, can I just write, so Abaya, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Is that the father? Because I don't think it is. Am I wrong on that?
Abaya's the
No.
thief.
Arendriel's the father.
Arendriel's the father. Abaya's the thief.
Abaya...
And Abaya is to blame.
Yep.
Oh.
Can I... So if we need to
25
return what
insight.
is stolen... Oh, fucking hell.
25 insight. It is definitely sorrow.
Okay.
Right, sorry. Did we meet Abaya?
Yeah, he's the thief who used to own the lighthouse.
Okay, so what was he?
Did you meet Abaya?
Well,
I
you
think we
nicked
met
my
him.
fucking sword. Did we not?
His kids did, yeah,
Oh,
and I retrieved
This
it.
was
Yes.
This is before me.
Yes, so
Yeah.
this is way back when.
This is
yes,
way back.
Sorry, he did nick
This is
Dawnbringer.
pre-stream, guys, by the way.
I was just trying to remember whether Ander met Abaya on his own, but no, it was actually...
No, he
went to
handed
negotiate with the
Dawnbringer back to me.
Yeah, so you, Ander, and Bothrid have
Yeah.
met Abaya. Abaya was a human.
He was a human, okay. Oh, I don't know about Dargon, but I'm going to get a nosebleed in a minute.
Right, so I'm sorry to pry. If I could delve further into this favour you will ask of us one day, does it involve rescuing your brother from the Eladrin? Is he under his influence? Intentional probing question.
My brother is dead.
And Dargon goes back to eating, awkwardly.
Oh. Oh. I'm sorry. When you said beyond help, I
Your
thought you
thief
meant...
friend
Friend's a strong word.
stole
but
an
go on.
artifact.
Okay.
He stole an artifact from my father, which was one of our last lines of defense. My brother sought to stop him, and in doing so
What?
was murdered.
What may this artifact be?
Is this what
You've
the Malt
not earned
Masters
that
have?
knowledge yet. No, or at least I do not believe so.
So what you want from the Malt Masters is different to what was taken.
There are many artifacts of the Cataclysm. One we held. The second was held by my father. Both are now lost.
And were these helpful in the protection against Phaliad? You mentioned that you keep Phaliad at bay.
They were
Both cities.
helpful in the protection against, not against, but for Nylin.
While it's been separated from everything else? Or before?
A tear rolls down her cheek and she sort of composes herself once more. I think we are getting ahead of ourselves. I think a more apt question for me would be to ask you what you know of the history of Nylin. What have they told
Okay.
you?
Kirek takes out his notebook.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, I was about to say. I will leave this to Kirek, if you don't mind.
I'll go through.
Seems
I'll
restored
spend
you
some
to yourself in good time, Half-Orc.
Yes, I think so. Certainly a conversation. Well, I've been studying Nylon for a very long time, even well before I was dropped in here by whatever effect has joined us all up. I will spend
And
the next.
if you'll forgive me interrupting, where did you come from before you landed in Nylon?
Well, I'm technically, I believe we call it the material plane.
I think
When whatever happened to
Misunderstand.
Nylon, I misunderstand.
Damn whispers.
we are all on the material plane.
Plan?
You know how Nylon was removed from time and space. We are all now trapped in this pocket universe.
If you're
Where
wanting to know,
did you come
wanting
from?
to know a place, land,
Yes.
I was born in Inuith.
It makes sense. And she looks at Micaiah, and it's almost like a flash of relief passes between the two of them.
And Bothrid and I all came through at the same time. It was Kirek who joined us later, but we're sure glad he did.
A son of Inuith.
Yeah, what?
There is hope.
Kirek?
I'm for once as oblivious as you are, Dogon, I think.
Alright.
We have lived here a long time. Some of us have been here long enough to understand and remember the wars.
Yeah, I think Feltag was as well, actually, from his memories.
He served the 12.
She looks at Feltag, looks at you as you say he served the 12.
Do you know the 12?
Something for a private discussion, perhaps. Of course I know the 12. Everybody knows the 12. They're partly at fault for everything that's happened here. However...
sorry, before we get down the rabbit route of all of this lot, we, as we said before, found ourselves near or on the edge of the forest of Phalead, and we tried to get out of there as quickly as possible. We were, however, on the return of a rescue mission to help one of our great friends with a lovely crew who seem to all be missing and feared inside the Phalead forest. On our ship through the skies, we lost them. We have no idea where they are, and in our means of attempting to communicate with them, we can't. We fear they're in Phalead, and we would like to get them back. I hope that with your help and guidance it will not be a fool's errand and a suicide trip. Is that something you could help
What are
with?
you asking, Dargon?
How do we get into the Phalead without dying and getting our friends back?
I'm sure you understand now the nature of the Phalead forest, do you not?
Well, it kind of threw a couple of stuffers at us and was just weird. But
No. That was the wild magic which pierces this realm so often.
It's a gate. Correct?
Yes.
to where?
It is the only permanent rift we know of into the Feywild.
There's another rift somewhere else.
Where?
Isle of the Dead. Well, I think there is anyway.
That is certainly not a rift into the Feywild. Nothing lives there. The Feywild is all about life. A possible rift to the Feywild could be on the Isle of the Dead.
Not the Feywild, somewhere else. Maybe the Shadowfell.
Have you ever sent any people to that island? Southeast of here? Or nearly east?
We have never sent anybody to it, but we have prevented crossings. Safe to say those we have sent have never returned to prevent
We did.
those crossings. And you are luckier than most.
Yeah. Seems it wasn't a nice place, but it's where we got our friend back. However, we've lost him once again. And we want to go get him from the, what you say, it was the Feywild?
If they are in the Feywild, that is your assumption, not mine.
That is my assumption, you're right. But I believe it.
And again I ask, Dargon, what is it you ask of me?
If you have been keeping the Feywild Phaliad Forest at bay, is it safe for us to just wander in there and get and search for them
not.
back? Then have you got any way of finding our friends to know whether they're there or not? Because if they're there, I'm walking in.
Have you ever been to the Feywild, Dargon?
No. But I've been to hell.
I would curb your enthusiasm.
It's not enthusiasm. It's merely the desire to get one's friends back. They don't deserve this. I don't wish to go there, but it's my belief they are there. If you can tell me otherwise, please do. I will happily not go there. But from my simple mind, we were over that bloody forest when we lost our friends. Where else could they be?
Micaiah at this point chimes up. Dargon, mind yourself.
My apologies. I simply wish to help my friends. I do not do well not knowing where those who have done me right are.
I can empathise with this, Dargon.
My anger is not at
If
you
your
or anyone
friends-
here. It is purely my desire to help those who have helped us.
If your friends are really in Phaliad, and it is your desire to go there, I can send someone to help you cross. But beyond that, that is for you to figure out.
Is there any way of knowing whether they're there, or is that a risk we have to take?
I cannot pierce the veil there. To see beyond planes is...
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Ooh.
I said I cannot see beyond the veil.
Kind of look at my I look at my other companions.
Protect the
Protect the veil.
No.
Can I ask something, Lena? You said that a buyer stole an artifact, correct?
Yes.
I have two questions really regarding that. First one is how long ago that happened.
And the second?
And second is if ever since that object left your possession, you said that it was some sort of a line of defense against the monsters coming out of Phaliad forest. If ever since that happened, you noticed any... I don't know what you do here. I fully believe that it's important, and I have no doubt that Nylin wouldn't be the place it is if you weren't present. But just want to know if ever since that object left your possession, if the attacks have been more frequent, more powerful, something of the like.
The artifact that was stolen from my father did not protect him from Phaliad. Protected him from the chasm. The artifact that was stolen from us by your so-called masters. Yes. The Phaliad forest expands its influence. It is almost as if the rift itself grows.
Is
The Seelie and Unseelie both seek whatever it is they want on this plane, and while we have that connection to the Fae, there is no good that can come from them walking freely.
Are you saying the rift to the Feywild is connected to why Nylin is where it is?
You know the history. The three powers that waged war across this land for eons. The gods, those from the Hells, the Fae. Nylin itself sits upon a great well of wild magic. Pure magic. The magic that creates, the magic that destroys. Control of this means otherworldly power.
Does anyone control it at the moment? Or no?
There's a reason we call it wild magic, Daron. It is wild.
Yeah, you have a fair point. You mentioned the seer a while back. May I ask what you know of her?
I knew her for a time.
Whoa, wait,
She spent
what?
some time in our city. She spent time in many a place. She had an uncanny connection to this power that runs through this land.
She
made a certain prophecy which is now lost to us.
What might that prophecy...
I kick Dagon under the table.
what might that prophecy look like?
Make me a deception check, please.
Do I get... Oh no, probably never mind.
Anything you get disadvantage
If
from the
anything, you
kick.
get disadvantage at this.
A natural one.
She looks at you. And her eyes narrow.
I can be more perfect.
Do not seek to mislead me, boys. You already know of this. Why
We do. We
Yeah.
do.
not Be honest.
I do.
I have been nothing but honest with you. Why are you still hiding details?
I'm sorry.
Be- because
we find it hard to trust. We've been burnt in the past.
We have.
But I sense your honesty.
We're connected with the prophecy somehow.
We could even go as far to say as we are the prophecy, if I was to be so bold.
Can't. Well, yeah.
Integral to the prophecy.
And at this, Micaiah leans in once more, looks at Ander, looks back. And the Grand Magister turns. And so my suspicions are true. You are the heir.
You saw the family resemblance then?
It is almost uncanny.
Did you know
We thought
Girth?
that bloodline lost.
Girth. while he was alive. I'm not even doing it on purpose at this point. Did you know? Can we call him like Bert or something else? Did you know King? Did you know King Girth while he was alive?
Do you let us know Girth?
Fuck's sake.
Oh my god.
Always say your names out loud when you're writing the map, because this is what happens.
See, in my head it's Garth, so never once has it come out as Girth.
Let's put it to Google Translate and see what it says.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, back in the scene. Back in the scene.
She looks at you and says, Garth, as you call him, was a name that we bestowed upon him.
Did he have an easier to say name prior to that?
Not in the common tongue. And to speak his true name is to... Well, let's just say that is probably something you should figure out for yourself.
Hey, Ander, was that the guy we found in that cave somewhere?
The tomb of, yes.
That was him, was it? That was Garth?
That's where where we met the seer, yeah.
Oh, well, no. What? Did we meet the seer there?
Yep. She came to us in that place, yeah.
All right. Must have still been. Yeah, no. If you remember, we had that horrible thing with those friggin' bird things afterwards. I must have blanked out a bit.
To be fair, we have both died since then, so.
These are a strange bunch, Micaiah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we've seen the seer a couple of times now.
If she has returned from beyond that particular veil, then perhaps it is time for the prophecy to be fulfilled. You say you are integral and you are the true heir, or so you say.
We've been trying to figure out where we need to go. We don't have, at the moment, the prophecy is not complete.
Yeah.
At least the bits that we have.
What bits do you have?
Beginning, I believe.
Yeah, we have the first two parts.
Yeah, I think we got the first two parts.
We believe there's a third.
Oh, there is more than a third.
Oh.
Wow.
We need to get a move on, guys.
Yeah. If you tell me
Reads like a...
there's like 7 parts, we're gonna have to hit fast forward.
I know of 4 verses to a poem
Okay.
which she once told. Her magic is clever. Even though she told it to some of us, I cannot remember it.
I look over to Kirek and Ander. If we show you something,
No. She hid that from us for a reason. If you know part of it, hold it, hide it, guard it. There are those out there that you are all too familiar with, who will go to great lengths to get even the smallest part of that prophecy, of that poem.
what? Why does he want it? Surely he can't do anything with it.
That is not just a prophecy, it is power. It will guide you in how to unlock this place. In the right hands, you can... Oh, are you the right hands? Perhaps my honesty gets the better of me. But in the right hands, this prophecy can be Nyalin's salvation. In the wrong hands, it could be not just Nyalin's downfall, but... who knows? Enoeth. The other lands. Nyalin is but a small part.
To be honest, there are so many riddles that we have to solve. I find it quite overwhelming, but one of the ones that I have been told is that the throne is mine, should I choose to take it. But it is where I will choose it to be. And do you have any idea where it would even start? How do I choose where it would be?
She was so clever. Think on those words, Ander. The throne is yours if you choose it. You have but to claim it. As for where that lies, that is down to you. You are the heir. There are thrones all over this land. I sit upon one.
Can I have yours then?
No.
Oh. Does it work?
But if you are the heir, and you seek to unify these lands, prove yourself. We may be more than blood allies. We may be true allies.
We were told when we got to Nylin that there were the three kingdoms, if I get it right.
And 3 brothers.
Yeah, but they had their own kingdoms, right? Like different areas, different rules.
More they were gifted to help sate those who sought certain powers. King Gareth unlocked the wild magic of this land. He controlled it. He understood it in a way that most will not. His sons, they each bore a part of that power. The celestial, the unholy, if you like, the power of the Fae.
But was this before Nylin got ripped away, or after?
Before.
Ah.
Powers beyond my understanding, beyond our prediction. They twisted events. They saw the divergence of this power, and they sought to control even the smallest aspect of it.
And what do you know
and
of?
in that final blow. Carry on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, we've heard rumour that one of the brother kings survived and is just missing, not dead. Have you heard this rumour too?
You know this already in your heart, Ander, I think. There was one that was lost. But perhaps you already understand this particular riddle. And I think it clear to me now that while he may have survived, he still survives. Just through you.
You were saying before, as Dave desperately
We have
tries to
covered
remember what the
much
hell
and-
you just talked about. Trying to remember what the hell you
My
just
head's
said
going to
then.
explode.
Yeah. My thought process remarkably follows Dargon's.
Method.
Yeah. Fuck.
We have talked of Ander's clear lineage. We have talked of Nyalin. Which part do you want to? I was but a child when we were ripped.
We knew of a king being slain that, if memory serves, set all this off. Was that king Gith?
It was the final blow. I know which king you mean, which brother you mean. One of your ancestors, Ander. The one that created the chasm, if you like. But also crafted such a clever spell.
The king did.
Yes, it's
all kings,
it is
three
his
of
soul
them.
which binds this spell to this world.
Was it one of the brothers then that
No,
was
this-
killed by the gods?
Oh, Tim Hale.
Ooh. Ooh.
Victim of his own trust, his own unwavering fealty. And yet, in doing so, did the one thing he was charged not to. The person he was charged with the utmost power to protect. He failed.
Do you know why? What happened?
Corruption. Those who grow to love are so easily corrupted. It is why love is both the most powerful and the most dangerous thing.
I'm so confused.
Yes, he was charged with protecting the final brother, but they grew closer than is usually permitted by the gods, and it is that small crack in the defense. It is all that those who seek to control this power, to bend that power to their will and do evil with that power, that is all they need, the smallest crack.
Whilst I obviously think that this is important information, this is also things from the past. We can't exactly have
It is.
any influence on it at the moment. I think we as a group have struggled to decide where to go next. We've been distracted sometimes with new and dangerous threats that keep appearing. And I'm sure you know that more than anyone. But
I was more thinking that what better way to distract than to create new challenges.
Wait,
There's
so
also
What
what
a way
we've
to
been.
slow you down.
That's what I've been thinking for a while myself now.
what? Hang on. Our original plot was to find more parts of the prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
If there was someone that was trying to buy time and stop us from getting there, think of all the stuff we've been through.
doesn't he
That seems
want
like a
the
very...
prophecy?
Yes, but if he stops us getting it first, so he's trying to delay us so he can get it first, I would say.
If he gets the
this
plans
he?
to the prophecy, if he gets to the rest of the prophecy, we have no choice but to go to him. And last time we did that, I didn't work out so well.
The Eladrin,
sorry.
sorry.
This he.
The Dark Eladrin.
The Eladrin.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Please, for the love of God, tell me that there's not someone else who wants this prophecy paused, stopped, halted.
the Eladrin himself is nowhere near powerful enough to hold this power.
Well,
He's but a puppet.
he was.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh,
Fuck.
but
It's like a pyramid scheme of evil, this.
we saw him use power beyond anything I've ever even seen.
Where's that power
If you
come
wanted
from?
a champion, would you not truly bless him with power?
So
Do you think he works for Dagon?
what?
Oh, hang on. Has
Who's the
Dagon
f-
told me about his dream? Has Dagon told me
No.
about
Who's
his
the
dream?
figure that you saw?
I haven't,
No. Then, never
Okay.
mind. I shall shut up.
because I've been trying to find out a bloody way that we can talk about our dreams yet.
That's true. We haven't talked about fucking
We haven't
Control
still haven't,
delete,
we still haven't
control
talked about our dreams, for God's sake.
So much has happened.
Listen.
I'm pissing myself.
And at this point, she turns and she says, I think we have discussed much. I have questions. You most certainly must have questions, but
More
I
than
think
when we walked
for
into
now-
this bloody room.
I think that is the
Forgive me.
point, Dargon. There is too much to understand right now. I must think, you must think, we must try and understand whatever this is.
But every moment we wait, our friends could be at danger. Can we not
I
get them back
that, Dargon, I
first?
do, but there is a bigger picture here. What is it that is most crucial to you? If it is your friends, then by all means I can help you get into the Feywild, but this land without its champions stands vulnerable.
Oh, to be honest, if we think we could serve two birds with one stone, or kill two birds with one stone, we know that we had the King of the Black Sea, the King of Shiverspire, and the King of Phaliad. We haven't been to any of those places yet, so rescuing Vraco from Phaliad may help us solve where we think some of the prophecy answers might be. And it's on the way north.
And to be fair, we were told to stay away from the from Phaliad Forest. We were told we wouldn't survive.
When
my-
we told
if we
this,
go in-
Dargon,
My
there's no one
eagerness to
question.
want to go and get them, get our friends. We're forgetting that particular thing. We're no good to our friends dead. It hurts me to say.
I'm also thinking if we go into the Phaliad, we're going into home turf that is not ours.
Yeah.
Let me add this, boys, and it may not be helpful. Those that seek to control this power do so in isolation. I have said that, yes, love provides the cracks through which evil can crawl and manipulate, but in the same time it binds everything. I cannot stop you going into Phaliad Forest, and if it is to rescue your friends, then it is a noble quest. Allies, those you trust, are more important than ever now. I hope that I have given you enough for you at least to trust me. I cannot choose the path for you. But those you love, those you trust, those that you hold dear, are the only ones that are going to see you through whatever challenges you are to face. I wish I had better answers for you.
Outside this room, I think I only trust Vraco. And I look to Under. I think you also trust your friend. I cannot say the same about the Malt Masters yet. Should we wait and find out more? Should we stop rushing? We are mere puppets to those who are trying to stall us. Or do by making us second guess ourselves, do we fall into the trap they want us to? Do we end up actioning inaction? Or should we stop running round their maze like rats?
I think you're quite right. If we thought before, and we talked before about the fact that we needed to pick the direction and stick with it, I think more than ever now, that's what we need to do. And we have mechanisms in place. We have higher beings that look upon us, all three of us. We can get in contact with them. We can ask them questions about things that perhaps not even Lena, not even you might know. Things from before your time.
I have far too many questions, Kirek.
Well, I can ask them 3 at a time.
I would prefer to speak alone to ask my questions. Tell me, Kirek, and
You wish to speak alone amongst yourselves, sorry. I misunderstand you there, Dogon.
forgive me.
No, do not ask for forgiveness, just be truthful.
Kirek, and what do you feel about who we met past Greenflower
Out of everyone we've met.
Who do you mean? Who do you mean?
In
Gonna need a
Ironforge.
clue here, Dagon.
In
Gonna need a clue here.
Ironforge.
Inside the forge itself.
Yeah.
I feel he can guide you now as best as anyone. But if I'm
Boys.
hearing what I think you're saying, are you saying we leave Reiko and head somewhere else on our mission?
So I turn to Lena. Grand Magister, what would you say if the person who has seemed to have elevated me from my powers is Timiel himself?
Then, if that is true, I would say perhaps he's finally found that spark of redemption. From
It
what you have told
seems
me so
that's
far,
the way.
I see nothing to doubt anything you have said. I see nothing to doubt any of the actions you have taken in this land. Nothing you have done so far has been for ill purpose or ill will. If Timiel has chosen you as his vessel, and through him higher powers, then who am I to stand in the way of that? Who am I to stand in your way, Dargon?
Then I am glad that Timiel is my patron. I am glad to be down this path. And maybe it's not for me to know why I'm so confused at the moment. And Dargon sits back down.
And then confusion haunts us all. Boys, I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared for
Sure.
you. The oath you have sworn, forget it.
No.
No, you do. This is more than petty disputes between myself and my aunt and my father and those who think themselves above the people. This is the very foundations of this land. I may still ask something of you, but I think I ask it not to help me, but to help everyone.
Insight check.
Yes, that which is stolen from us must be returned. But it never belonged to us. Return it, but return it to those who need it. Yourselves.
Can I insight check that?
Yep, absolutely.
It's...
I think we needed a roll to break up that last fucking 45 minutes of intensity.
It's 26.
I'll do it.
There is no, like, if anything, she is more earnest than she has been throughout, and you can tell just in the way she is getting so passionate about this. There is definitely no hint of a lie. And she has no... I'm assuming you were insight checking to try and see if she had any claim to the item at all.
Yeah, kind of The original one was when she was saying that she may still ask something of us, but for the good of Nylon, not for the good of her. That was the original thing I wanted insight.
You get the assumption that Lena is all about the greater good.
The greater
And
good.
not about individual the greater good.
Shut it!
Fucking love Hot Fuzz. Anyway,
Sorry, back.
Lena is all about that Nile in itself, not just River's End, not about her father, not about anything, but purely focused on this end task, which is to free Nile ultimately.
It's welcoming to find someone who wants the right thing for Nylin and for the people. Looking back now, it seems we don't see that very often.
Perhaps,
Thank you.
if I may, trust is something which is, in this land, not so freely given. You've seen that in this city itself. We do not trust anyone. You have no weapons. If you cast magic in here, I will kick you out faster than you can cast that spell. Perhaps those that you think untrustworthy just need more assurances.
We haven't been here long, I suppose. In your city and in Nylin.
I think we have discussed enough for tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you
To
for
that
your
end, then.
honesty.
Do you think maybe you could have some of your men escort us to our new humble abode?
Or is it best we stop somewhere
I
else?
think.
Does it come furnished or
but-
unfurnished?
Well, that depends very much upon Lord Arath himself, but now that I have unlocked this deed for you, perhaps whatever protection he placed upon it, as I give this back to you with my blessing, perhaps you will now see it for what it truly is.
Oh,
You will have passed this manor already.
I knew it! I fucking knew it!
Sits outside the city. Take this as well. And she, from her robes, withdraws a small coin. And within that small coin you see the engraving of a river in it. This will grant you entry and exit from our city whenever you see fit. For you will have to exit to get to Lord Arath's estate.
If we are, well, exchanging gifts, you have been helpful and forthcoming, something that we are mostly not accustomed to. I have some capabilities when dealing with certain creatures, certain types of creatures. Some protection that might be put in place for a long time. If there's anything that you need in the future, you may ask, as long as we have the
What is it you
components
offer,
for.
Kirek? Let us not speak in riddles anymore.
He doesn't speak in anything but riddles.
Well, if you are in a place where the Fae are mostly attacking, there are some spells which I'm sure you will be familiar with, that prevent passage or create great distress to such creatures. I have the capability of casting some of those spells.
And your mistress, she would approve of this?
Guess we'll find out if I try to cast it.
A fair one.
Isn't
Thank you for
she?
your offer, Kirek.
Samar, have you told the group about the protect the veil stuff that you keep getting told?
Yeah, I would done.
She always wants you to protect the veil, doesn't she, Kirek?
Mm-hmm.
And if
I think
River's End also protects the veil, then it appears your purposes are aligned.
Seems so.
What are the words she says to you? There's one final question.
Guard the veil is the exact wording.
So many cogs and yet so many unanswered questions.
Indeed. Indeed.
You wrote it.
That was super.
Wall break.
That was like a 7th wall break or something.
We also don't know
Perhaps
when
in this instance think. Carry on.
I was just going to say, we also, well, we're off to wherever this place might be, this mansion that we recently got hold of. We don't know our next step. I'm sure we'll discuss it tomorrow after a long night of rest. I appreciate I understand your aversion to magic. I think, given the place where you are, it's quite understandable. There is something I'd like you to have, and I'll take out one of the candles
Well, what?
from the set. I'll place it on the
It's not
table.
going to be that our incense.
This one's scented,
And
it
I
smells
was-
of rose.
This one's
There you go.
citronella. Keeps the flies away.
This is when you have bad
Stop
days.
ruining Kirek's moment.
Sorry.
And I'll say, if there's any message that you would like to send our way, if there's any message that if there's anything that we come across that we think you might want to know, this is a way for us to communicate without me having to actually cast magic.
Been a long time since I've seen one of these. Thank you, Kirek. And likewise,
Thank you.
as I know they work both ways. If you had need of us, I think we have shared enough tonight to at least warrant a mutual appreciation.
Yeah, and give me a nosebleed.
Beginnings of an alliance, maybe.
I sure hope so.
Me too. Micaiah, my love. Perhaps it is time that we let these boys get some rest. Will you escort them out? I will see you later. And with this, the Grand Magister stands, holds out her arms, and with that the hero's feast, which has been pretty much depleted over this last hour now, was gone.
She gave me the deeds back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's handed those back to you in full Elvish now.
I'll read them in a bit.
Um,
Next week, probably.
She turns and says to you boys, Again, I thank you for your honesty. Is not something we see so earnestly anymore. I apologize if you were treated with any friction when you first arrived.
Yeah, it's entirely understandable.
It's to be expected. We look shady as hell. So,
Speak for
we see your
yourself.
point.
Well, there is certainly that. Listen, boys.
Feltag, are you?
We all need our rest.
You gonna join us? Come with us.
Feltag at this point has just been sort of sat at the end of the table, and with this he sort of pokes up. Sorry, what? Yes,
Yeah.
He's been on standby.
Do you want to join us? We're heading off, getting a bit of rest.
Well, I need to find Captain Swift, so wherever you go, I go.
Yeah, good.
Hey, Dom.
It's on our list, and we need to recover. Then we'll go find her. Yeah.
By all means.
I put my hand on Kirek. Come on, Kirek. Oh no, sorry, my bad.
What's that for?
Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. Right. Lead the way, Ranger General.
Bothrid, who
He
has
had
still
to
got a couple of
lead you
ale,
around like a dog.
not having been dispelled yet, takes a sip.
Thank you. Sorry. You're gone.
And so Micaiah stands, kisses Lena once again, who turns and then exits back into the side room, and she leads you out. And you exit past the guards, who just sort of look curiously as if to say, well, you're in there a long time. You descend the stairs, and as you exit, the same two guards who are at the entrance turn. They look at Kirek. Well, you look a damn sight better than you did when you entered, is probably the only way to describe it. Your weapons. And they open the chest, and all your weapons are there.
As they open the chest, I will summon the warhammer and the hand axe back to me and pop them in me. Pop one in the belt and one in the back, and I'll go and grab me sword and me shield.
Is there
And
any other
Bothrid
lost
spends a good
property
10
in there?
minutes sort of think. Make me make me an investigation check, please.
24, natural 20. I've had about 4 of them tonight.
You've had,
Jesus,
a lot of them
yeah,
tonight.
that's like your fourth today.
That's
If
ridiculous.
it didn't go in the game log, you would not be believing me at this point.
As you look in the bottom of the chest and sort of scoop around, you being the last one to go to it, you find a key.
Oh,
And as you
shit.
take the key out, it is made of Wrathstrike.
Oh my god.
Now it's up. I've got another one.
I'm going to need it to get into the flipping route, whatever we're going.
I don't suppose you mind if I keep hold of this. I know exactly where it goes.
Well, if it was in the chest, it was yours, so feel free.
Correct.
They
As you
pay
were.
no attention and just let you leave. And with that, Micaiah leads you back down the familiar path towards the big ornate gate, past that huge fountain to the edge of the city. And she turns around and says, that coin will let you in and out. I think you know where you must go now.
Thank you once again, Ranger General. Very, very kind.
Much obliged.
Thank you
And
for
I will
treating her
say-
with respect.
Might
I will
we?
say goodbye, friend, in Elvish.
And she actually grabs your wrist, places her forehead against yours, and returns the same greeting. But actually in Elvish, she changes the word friend to trusted friend.
And this, I think this is the first time I've actually felt an affinity towards an elf for a while, since I was betrayed by the Eladrin. So, there we go. Amber's healed a little bit more. Sorry, Dave.
Good feels.
Right, Forgive me, might we know the best way to get in touch with you if we need to? Is there a particular...
He has a candle.
As you were. Thank you again. And just walks off.
And so you exit the city and you make your way back along the road, and it doesn't take you long. It takes you about 10-15 minutes to approach the very run-down, decrepit manor which looked like it was about to fall over. However, this time, and as you step forward and approach it, now with the completed deed in hand, it's almost like a shimmer just appears, and what was a run-down, decrepit manor becomes a stone-walled, tall, regal-looking estate with these grand trees outside and a fountain out the front.
Do we see this, or just Ander?
Not currently. You just see a decrepit manor.
Ah, great. We got this bloody wreck-hole.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I can see a fucking rundown
ruins,
bloody
yeah.
castle. I mean, what the fuck is this, Ander? I'd rather sleep in a tent.
Hang on. This. Let me read the instructions. Hang on, and I'll pull out the deed
Step
and
one,
read the instructions.
make sure you've got all the
Okay, so as you
screws.
now open it out and you read the Elvish, which is on the front, it reads, "Whosoever hold these deeds to my estate." Stop it.
If he be worthy, he shall have the power of the Lord.
If you be worthy, shall have all the power. Yeah, no. Fuck you guys.
Sorry?
Whosoever holdeth these deeds, something, whichever, whatever the fuck I just said, I, Lord Areth, of the city of Firduin, do bestow my land, my estate, my possessions, to those and those you hold dear. Be it upon my oath, and the oath of the Lady Lena, Grand Magister of Ethirduin. And there is a signature at the bottom in Elvish, which you read as Lord Areth, Ranger General of Ethirduin.
Nice.
How are you spelling it?
On text later.
Ethirduin is EFFIR
Yeah.
DUINE.
Oh, fucking hell.
Got a nosebleed.
EFFIR DUINE.
Just on the WhatsApp later.
Fuck it, I'll do it now.
No, I've got it. It just sounded Welsh when you were saying it.
Nice.
Elvish.
Yeah, Welsh.
As you say these words to your allies, and you read the bit to those and you hold dear, for the rest of you, the shimmer, and you see the same vision, and now the completed estate.
Oh,
The grand stone walls,
bloody hell.
the huge trees, this grand fountain in front, and rather than the decrepit manor that once almost horrified you, now you get the feeling of this could be home.
Kirek, is this an illusion? Bloody hell, mate. Whoa.
That's neat.
Yeah.
What's
What?
mine is yours, gentlemen.
That is
But-
better, Ander. Lead on, do say.
The only thing I want to say is I've got first dibs on everything that's in the house. Other than that, come on in.
And with that, we shall end for tonight.
There's going to be some cool shit in there.
So, thank you once again for joining us on this magical mystery tour that is the Forgotten Kingdom of Nyland. There was a lot in that episode. I think it's going to take a lot for the players to digest. It's going to take a lot for you guys to digest, but hopefully you've enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed RPing the hell out of that. That was amazing. Well done to the players. A massive thank you again to Tabletop Audio, to Hero Forge, to Incarnate, which helped me create the vision of River's End, Fearduin, as you like. To Kassoon for helping me just construct some of the city elements as well. And also, as always, to BattleBards. We didn't get to hear many sound effects tonight, but hopefully we'll get some out next time. Please do go and check BattleBards out. Please go use the affiliate code that you see on screen. As you register, enter Malt and Magic, that will get you a discount off those sound effects. And you can bring that immersion to your game, especially during those combat encounters. There is nothing, encounters even, there is nothing like hearing that sword swipe as you describe your character striking with its long sword against the beast that besets you now. Please do check out the website. Please go check out our social media channels. Check us out on Instagram, check us out on Twitter. Go check out the YouTube channel. This episode will be up on Friday. For those that are watching on Friday, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please go check out the past episodes. And also, if you would rather listen as well, if sometimes watching videos takes up a little bit too much time, please do go and check out the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Other than that, I have spoken far more than enough tonight. I have been Mad Isbell, your Dungeon Master for tonight. We have been the Malt and Magic crew. Thank you and good night.